How's it going, everyone? This is Kevin. Today I want to bring along with me to see if a zoom lens or a prime lens is better at their perspective focal length. So let's jump right into it. So I'm going to be using my Tamron 28-75 at the 35 focal mark only because I'm going to be testing it against my Sigma 35mm. This one goes down to a 1.4 and this one to a 2.8. So for the sake of argument, I'm going to keep it at 2.8 pretty much the whole time. So that way it's just more relevant to each other and it's a fair comparison, if that makes more sense. Obviously, I know that a lot of reasons why people go with primes is because you can go lower to that 1.4, 1.2, 1.8, but in reality you don't really always need to do that. So that's why I wanted to compare this, because a lot of people tend to kind of have a little war between zoom lenses and prime lenses, and my goal is to really see if there's really that much of a difference. Does it make sense to just spend only money on prime lenses, or should you get a zoom lens and save some money and still get good quality out of the lenses? So my main focus will be to test out how quick both of these lenses are when it comes down to the focus points, seeing how sharp they are at 2.8. I might try it out at maybe shooting at 4, maybe 5.6, and a lot of people tend to say that that's the sharpest, aperture, but I'm not gonna go too crazy in that scenario. But I also want to see how good they both are when it comes down to video. So we're just going to kind of see how well it recognizes the face when it comes down to video and the focus in that sense. So I think with these little 3 tests that we'll do, I think it'll be great to compare the lenses to each other in a fair way, since I think most people want to make sure that their lens are fast when it comes down to the focus, and also that they're sharp enough so that they're not losing quality. I know a lot of times with the zoom lenses you can lose a little bit of quality when it comes down to basically the zooming in because of the different glass and all this science stuff that I don't really know full details, but I've seen other videos, and I just really wanted to compare myself between my prime lens and zoom lens and see if this will help you out to decide if you should go more with primes or if you want to get a zoom lens and kind of save some money that way. So let's just go ahead and take some photos and videos, and then we'll head back to my office and we'll talk more in depth about checking out each photo and seeing how everything looks and see what we come up with. So basically I'm gonna have to control it with my phone and see how good the autofocus goes when I take the photos. I forgot that I kind of have to control it this way to do the live focus. That way I can't show you behind the scenes with my phone, but we'll try it out. And we're back in my office, so I had to cut the experiment, if you will, a little bit shorter because I kind of got kicked out of that location. The security guy was pretty cool. I mean, he was just like, hey, this is private property, you're not supposed to be out here, even though there was no signs or anything like that, so that was kind of weird. So I told him, I was like, hey, I didn't know, thank you so much for letting me know, but he was cool, he let me finish, so I was able to get basically just the quick photo to kind of basically just compare between each other and a little bit of video, and I didn't want to drag it out anyway, so we're just going to go ahead and compare and show you how everything looks and see if you can tell a difference at all, or they're pretty much the same, or one's fairly better than the other one, to see what our conclusion can be. Alright, so now this is the behind the scenes of the photos. I usually set up my phone where the white part is, but sadly I wasn't able to, so I was able to just kind of go quick and take the photo to see how fast it could autofocus on my face. So I'll be showing you guys the results at the end of this part, just to show you in Lightroom basically the comparison between the zoom lens and the prime lens to see just basically how each looked. Right now I'm going into the zoom lens now. The first one was with the Sigma 35, but I'll talk more details into that here whenever I show you the comparison side to side in Lightroom. But I wanted to show you a little bit of how quick and fast I just took these photos. I literally set myself in frame, used my mobile app from Sony, and then just basically took the photo, and I only did one shot just to kind of give it a fair chance in a sense of quickness of focus, and that was it. So basically I just kind of try to be as fast as possible, and that was pretty much it. So this is basically just how I took the photos, and I'm going to show you the comparison now. All right, so here we have basically the Sigma 35 millimeter. I shot them both at f4 just because of the light and everything, and kind of was rushed because, like I said, there was a security guy who was telling me to hurry up. So I wanted to keep it at 2.8 with everything, but it was fine with doing f4. I mean, it's a good test to see anyway, so don't mind my ugliness right here. But yeah, so I mean, fairly sharp right off the edges everywhere in reality. It's pretty cool to see. I mean, I see the sharpness right here and the good separation from the background. So that's a good sign right there, because I did a one-shot wonder kind of thing and just went straight off the bat. That's just a shot, just to see how quick it would focus on my face with using the mobile app. So right off the bat, it looks really good, sharp, honestly. Like, it's just very, very, very sharp. I like the way it looks. So that's a good, I mean, f4 shoots pretty nice in this prime lens. So not always would I shoot at f4, but sometimes when you want to have a good, basically focused point and sharpness on the subject, it's really good to do that for portraits, just so you don't like lose any details right over here in the edges and everything like that. So in all honesty, I mean, f4 pretty much was really nice with Sigma. Now we got here the Tamron, shot at f4, 1/500 of a second, ISO 80, both of them. So basically nothing changed. So let's see how sharp it is. Wow, that's pretty good quality, honestly. I mean, f4, I know that it's supposed to be, like, a lot of lenses are supposed to be better sharpness when it comes down to kind of going into like the 4 to 5.6 range from what I've seen and tested myself. So it's pretty cool to see. So let's do the reference kind of style and put them side to side. So this is the side to side, just clicking them both. Pretty good. Let me see, let's do 100. There we go. Now we're cooking. So they're kind of fairly the same. I mean, honestly, I can't see a difference in sharpness. They're both very sharp. Just looks good. I mean, in all honesty, both of them look pretty good with the sharpness. And let's see if we go back. I like the bokeh in both of them. It looks very smooth. So like if we go over here and zoom in, I mean, look at that. It's like honestly pretty much the same. Maybe a little bit rougher on the Tamron over here, that you lose a little bit of quality, I guess, but nobody's gonna be going that deep into it. So I mean, even if we go to like the little section right here, it's out of focus in a sense. So this one looks like almost like it was like moving, and that's why I got like blurry. So I don't know if that's just because it was kind of windy, but yeah, I mean, I think both of these look fairly great with the sharpness. I mean, yeah, they're phenomenal photos in a sense with the sharpness of the lens. So even looking at the hairs over here, how they look, it just looks super smooth, and the depth perception is great. So far I can't really give a win to either. And now we're moving on to compare the lenses for video, and I'm going to start with the Tamron 28-75, since that was the last one that I had when I was taking the photos. And I put an ND filter so I could obviously keep it with the lowest aperture that I could. I kept it at f4 since that's what I was doing with the photography side, and I just want to keep it kind of all leveled out the same way, since I already started at f4 by the time I was taking this footage and photos. So I'm going to show you the final footage of this, and then right after show you the 35 Sigma footage, and then side to side so you can see a side-by-side comparison. Here we have the side-by-side comparison between the Tamron and the Sigma, so you can see in real time how they both focus fast and how they stay on me. I was fairly surprised to see how good both the autofocus was going and staying on me, even if I turned around and everything. So with this kind of battle right here, it was a little bit of a hard decision to choose a winner, but I'm very happy with the results. There you go. So that's a side-by-side comparison between my zoom lens of the 28-75 Tamron and my prime lens, the Sigma 35mm. So as you saw with the testing, obviously I kept it at 35, and honestly for the sharpness, they're both really great. In all honesty, I was kind of surprised because I know a lot of people tend to go with prime lenses because they're sharper, they're better all around in a sense, obviously great for low light because they can go down to 1.4, most of them. So it is a great scenario when it comes down to shooting low light situations with a prime lens. But in all honesty, still with a 2.8 is not horribly bad. I usually shoot with a 2.8 when it comes down to low light situations, when I'm videoing myself with my Tamron 20mm most of the time, now with a 28-75 Tamron as well, if I want to condense myself down and if I know I don't have enough time to be switching back and forth with lenses. I know a lot of people kind of go with prime lenses because it's just I'm assuming it's just a little bit sharper for some people's ideology. I'm not really sure. I mean, I know a lot of the times with like the native lenses for the cameras, it can be a lot better. So I'm comparing a little bit more affordable lenses that would be great for you guys because that's what I use myself as well. When it came down to the video, I mean, both of them fairly fast with everything in focus and just finding the face and everything like that. So I thought it was pretty great to see in that scenario how good both of these lenses can be at 35mm focal length and even shooting at 2.8 or 4.0 that I shot at with the aperture. I mean, that's just a decision that you would need to make yourself. I just wanted to give this information to you guys to see if it could help out when it comes down to these decisions. For the price, in all honesty, if you're trying to save some money, in all honesty, I would go with the zoom lens because you get more focal range for the price and you're not losing honestly much of quality whatsoever. And if you're not planning to shoot at 1.4, which most people don't unless it's like absolutely necessary when it comes down to low light or really wanting to get a blurred background, and even then I don't really see that many people doing it. I fairly don't do it that often unless I know that I need that extra stop of light when I'm shooting photos and I want to capture the moment in a sense more freezing time because I want to have my shutter speed faster. But other than that, I really don't do it that often. I mainly do it for like my tennis academy because it's darker at the time that I'm taking the photos, and since they're swinging fast, I want to make sure that I'm capturing that movement a lot smoother and not have that blurred kind of racket speed going through because it just doesn't look as smooth to me. It doesn't look as professional. Anyways, just hopefully this helps you out to this side. Obviously, if you would like to check out the lenses and everything, they'll be down below in the description, and hopefully you get one of these and make sense for your gear to keep creating. But with all that said and done, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, share this video with a friend, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya. Let that wind roll by, 'cause it's windy.